So, you need help deciding whether university or an apprenticeship is the best decision for you. Well, you've come to the right place because today we're going to be going through all things university and apprenticeship. I'll be going through things to do with university, then apprenticeship, and then just some general facts. If you'd like to skip ahead to any section, there's some markings below which you can just use to drag to any area that you'd like. Now, before we begin, make sure to check out my Instagram, which is iMentor with 2 underscores. On there, I give all types of advice, such as CVs or interviews, and many different types of things that will be coming in the future, so make sure to check me out. Now, let's make a start with university. Usually, university courses are 3 to 4 years of study, and that does vary between different courses. They can be shorter, they can be longer, because some of them might include a master's degree within inside the bachelor's degree, so it's always worthwhile to check because they can be different for each course. Doing a university degree allows you to also explore your subject in depth. As I said before, it's usually 3 to 4 years of study, so studying that long within a certain subject area will allow you to gain a lot more detail than you would normally through other areas, such as an apprenticeship. So for example, if you were to study economics at university for 3 to 4 years, you would go quite in depth year by year while studying your subject. So if that is something you're interested in doing, then university again is definitely the route for you. Next, we also have lifestyle. This is probably one that's more obvious because you may have known someone that's gone to university or someone that has lived out for university, and lifestyle plays a massive factor because you can choose to live out in student accommodation. So if this is also something that you want to do, then you may want to look at the university route. Not saying that you can't do this on an apprenticeship, but it's more likely that you'll do it whilst at university if you're leaving your local city. So if that is something that's a big concern to you, then you may not want to look this way, or if that's something that you definitely do want to do, then that again might be something that you want to look into. Moving on from this, we also have qualification levels. These also vary depending on what type of course you want to do at university. So we have a foundation degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, and a PhD. I won't be going into depth in terms of different degrees in this video, but that is something that I'm thinking about doing for future videos. So if you do want to see that, leave a comment down below. But normally if you're applying to university after A-levels or anything similar, then you probably will be going inside on the bachelor's degree route. After this, we also have sandwich year. This is effectively where you can change your 3-year degree into a 4-year degree, and you take a year out after your 2nd year, before your 3rd year, to do a year's work experience in something that's relevant to your degree, so you can gain effectively real life experience. This is something that I would definitely urge everyone to do if they're going down the university route, because it allows you to leave university with some real life experience and actually things to talk about in interviews. Now, moving on from this, tuition fees for courses starting 2021. These can change every year, so it's always good to look up for your relevant area and your relevant year that you'll be starting university to see what course fee applies. So pause the video if you'd like to take a look at your relevant area. Now, if you're sat there worrying, thinking, I can't afford £9,000 a year to go to university, that's crazy. Well, there's no need to worry because you have Student Finance England. Who are Student Finance England? Well, they essentially a student loans company who give you the money to go to university, and then you pay it back after university when you get a job over a certain threshold. So there's no need to worry thinking you might not be able to afford it because they essentially cover these costs. Obviously, they don't just pay everyone any amount of money to go to university. It depends on your household income and other factors accordingly. Now, moving on to apprenticeships. These are a lot different to university, so these can vary from 1 to 6 years of study or / work, and it just depends on what type of level you're thinking of undertaking and which type of qualification you're thinking of going for. So it's always good to do a lot of research behind what you want to do and how long you think your course is compared to if you were to do something similar at university. A big benefit of apprenticeships are no fees. So as you can see at the end, it says earn and learn. These 2 points are synonymous, and basically you earn and work at the same time rather than paying university fees. As you saw before, going to university costs roughly around £9,000 a year, whereas doing an apprenticeship allows you to work and earn money at the same time. Then, as mentioned, we also have the different qualification levels, which are intermediate, advanced, higher, and degree. Then on the right hand side you can see what these equate to, such as GCSE, A-level, foundation degree and bachelor's or master's degree. Make sure when you're applying for your apprenticeship you know exactly what level you want in the end, so that you know you're going through the right educational level to get what you want in the end. So there's many types of apprenticeships out there, and if you search on Google you'll see many companies come up, but here I've got the top 5 apprenticeships in the UK. This is not to say that, oh, Softcat is number 1, that's where I need to get my apprenticeship. It is something that's very relevant to your area. So if Softcat is something that is to do with what you're studying or you're doing your apprenticeship in, then that's something you may want to reach for, whereas that Softcat might not be actually relevant to your course, so that's not the number 1 for your area. So like I said before, just do your research and see what's best relevant for what you're aiming to do in life. Now, moving on from this, some facts, as I said I was going to give before. If we look at salaries, you can see here that university has a higher average salary per hour than apprenticeships, university being at £15.38 and apprenticeships being at £11.02. Then looking over to the right hand side, from a survey conducted they saw that 26% of university students were satisfied with what they were doing, whereas a whopping 68% of students on apprenticeships were satisfied with what they were doing. A big disclaimer here is that these are just averages. So not every university graduate will get that salary, and there may be people who have done an apprenticeship or have left on a higher salary than what I have there. Vice versa for the satisfaction as well. A lot of university students may be well more satisfied than people on apprenticeships, so these are just averages, and just watch out because it all mainly depends on what you want in the end. I'd always say that before you make any decision, whether that's deciding to go to university or apprenticeship, think about what you want to do after that. Don't just think about what you want to do at university or what you want to do whilst undertaking an apprenticeship. Always think about what you want in the end and where you want to work afterwards. Because by doing that, honestly, it will help you decide which route you need to go down. So, now what? Well, I would say to look at the positives and negatives of both university and apprenticeships. Do your own research. Don't just look at my video here and decide, right, that's it, university is the one for me or apprenticeship's the one for me. Make sure you look at both options and weigh out the positives and negatives of both, and think about what you want to do long term. Don't just think over the next 3 to 4 years. Think about, right, after I finish my university degree, what do I want to do? Or after I finish this apprenticeship, do I want to carry on working at that company, or would I just want to go into something else afterwards? I understand that right now it might be quite hard to think that long term because you've not done any of these things and you don't actually know what would be involved in them, but it's better to start thinking about that now and doing your research so you actually understand and you can make better decisions whilst you're going through the process. And don't worry if you're going through that process and you're still stuck, then just drop me an email if you need any advice or if you want to help make a specific decision, because like I said, it's very course relevant and you can't just stick by the facts. You need to think about what you want. So yeah, drop me an email and I'll be happy to help. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that video and I hope it was actually useful for some of you. If it was, then please go down below and smash that like button, because then I'll know that these videos are useful and I can keep creating more content like this.